Get your ears wrapped around the Golden State Media Concepts Basketball Podcast. All the scoop you need to know, from college basketball to the NBA and even March Madness. News of your rising stars. Topics on and off the hardwood. This is the Golden State Media Concepts Basketball Podcast.
Thank you for listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Basketball Podcast, where we discuss all the news in the world of basketball, NBA, college, LaMelo Ball in high school. I mean, everything here.
LaMelo Ball.
Basketball street. We'll talk about LaMelo
Basketball
again.
is my favorite sport.
You say that pretty much every episode. And I like it. Well, we'll talk about LaMelo again, because I know you have some stuff to say about what happened last week with the whole 92. And then his dad went on TMZ Sports with him.
And we know you have a lot to say about that.
Oh, man. I mean, some people, and I don't want to put this in the wrong way, because I don't know them. I don't want to disrespect them.
Sure.
But some people just should say nothing.
I'm telling you,
I'll
nobody...
just say that for now. We'll talk about it at the end of the show, but some people should just say nothing. Like, they say on Twitter, like, don't hit send, or, like, don't hit tweet or whatever. Some people should do that, and some people should just say nothing. But
I love the fame. I love the lights. The camera. The camera.
Right,
this brings out the real me.
We'll save that for the end. But anyways, we're going to start off with... We have the whole weekend. So we have Friday, Saturday.
Yes.
Oh, of course, Saturday is going to take a lot of the storylines here because of Durant's first return to OKC. But that is not going to shadow away any of the other games within the NBA that we're going to look at here.
All right.
So the Heat, the win streak's over, but it was at 13 because they did beat the Brooklyn Nets 108-99 on Friday. James Johnson had 26 points, 8 rebounds, and 2 assists. Brook Lopez, 30 points, 8 rebounds, and 1 assist. For me, the team that's loving how bad the Nets are is the Celtics. They're going to have that pick.
Yes.
They're number 2 in the East right now. Isaiah Thomas is an MVP candidate, although Harden and Westbrook are getting a lot of the storylines. But Isaiah Thomas is playing fantastic. They're number 2 in the East, and they're going to get that pick, which is probably going to be number 1. Well, I mean, with the lottery, you never know, but it's going to be really interesting. So, nevertheless, the Heat do win 108-99. They're on a 13-game winning streak, and they're 24-30. Like, what? That's the longest winning streak of a sub-500 team ever in the NBA. They're on a 13-game winning streak, and they're still not even in the playoffs. Like, how does that even happen? But anyways, I guess that's what the Heat story is this season. The Nuggets, 131-123 over the New York Knicks. The big performer here, Nikola Jokic, having a fantastic year. Really, really a standout performer this season. Well. He's been probably like the breakout player of the year in my eyes. 40 points, 9 rebounds, and 5 assists. Carmelo had 33, 6 boards, and 4 assists for the Knicks. We're talking about the Knicks in the news segment near the end.
Of course.
I mean, James Dolan just adding more and more fuel to the fire in New York. And
we love it.
It's just... It's worse than a Rocky situation. It's like the boat is capsizing.
No, the boat, yep.
The bat cave. The bat boat. No, but the Spurs with a 103-92 victory over the Detroit Pistons. Kawhi Leonard, in my eyes, probably the second best two-way player in the league behind LeBron. When you look at offense and defense.
Okay.
32.6 rebounds and 5 assists, really showing that he is the leader of the San Antonio team. The Lakers win over the Bucks on Friday, 122-114. Swaggy P, Nick Young, 26 points, 4 assists, and 2 rebounds. And then Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Greek Freak, had 41 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists.
I know.
He's absolutely fantastic. The Warriors beat the Memphis Grizzlies 122-107. Klay Thompson had 36 points. Mike Conley had 20 points, 9 assists, and 5 boards for the Grizz. The Pelicans pick up a 122-106 victory over the Minnesota Timberwolves. Anthony Davis had 42 points, 13 rebounds, and 2 assists. Karl Anthony Towns, 36 points and 8 rebounds. If you had to
game.
pick one of these guys to have, who would you pick?
See, I would say Anthony Davis, but I can't depend on him to his body. Yes.
It's very true. There's such similar styles. Towns is, I'd say, a little more wider.
Yeah.
Similar styles, though. They like to step out onto the perimeter, can both hit the three.
I love Karl Anthony, though. Yeah, I really do.
I mean, both these guys coming out of Kentucky have been fantastic. I'd probably say Karl Anthony Towns along with you because I can just trust him to stay healthy more. Yeah. But two of the best big men in the game already, and I'm happy and willing to see how their careers will progress.
Yes.
The Wizards with a 112-107 victory over the Indiana Pacers. A very nice victory there. Markieff Morris for Washington had 26 points and 10 rebounds. Your Sacramento Kings, Pauline.
I know.
They come back from down 18 at the break and win over the Atlanta Hawks 108-107. Ben McLemore, surprisingly a good game.
Yeah, he had a really good game that day.
22 points, 9 rebounds. The Kings, another victory again. Playing really well. We'll talk about your Kings in just a minute when we finish sort of the weekend.
Yep.
And then the last game on Friday, the Suns pick up a 115-97 victory over the hopeless Chicago Bulls. Dwayne Wade had 18 points and 6 rebounds.
They have so
Devin
much
Booker for the Suns, 27 points, 5
so much
rebounds,
experience over there, and it's just like falling apart.
I mean, they are without Jimmy Butler right now. He's out with a heel injury, but nevertheless, we know about everything that's going on there, and they have
experience, jewelry, decked out veterans over there, and they can't get it together.
They're just a mess. I mean, they have been since Jordan left. All right, so the Clippers with a 107-102 victory over the Hornets on Saturday. Blake Griffin, just 2 assists shy of a triple-double. He's playing really, really well without Chris Paul. 20 points and 12 rebounds.
I'm glad he's doing well after his injury, like getting surgery and everything. So I'm glad he's doing well as he's coming back and making his grand entrance again.
Exactly. The Milwaukee Bucks beat the Pacers 116-100. Giannis Antetokounmpo had 20 points, 10 assists, and 8 boards. As we said, the Heat win streak was snapped on Saturday by the 76ers without Joel Embiid, 117-109. Goran Dragic had 30 points in that loss, though. The Cavs pick up a 125-109 victory over the Denver Nuggets. LeBron had 27 points, 12 assists, and 5 rebounds. And that brings us to the game everyone really cared about. The one everyone had circled on their calendar since the season started. The calendar came out. Kevin Durant's first trip back to OKC.
Yep.
They were 2-0 before this game against the Thunder, and now you can make that 3-0 with a 130-114 victory over the Thunder. Russell Westbrook literally had to do everything in this game. I mean, it seemed like they were playing really 1-on-5. He had 47 points, 11 rebounds, and 8 assists. He did have 11 turnovers. He's gone over 10 turnovers 5 times now this season, so not good, but I mean, I think that goes to show you that he's literally having to play 1-on-5.
He's doing everything.
Has to. Kevin Durant, the big storyline here, what would he do in his return back to OKC? Well, I mean, the first 2 games they were in Oakland, but he had 40 points and 39 points. Didn't do as good here, but I mean, I'll take 34.
Yeah. 34.
He had 9 rebounds, 3 assists, played fantastic. A late 3 there in the fourth quarter, which was just absolute dagger with like 4 or 5 minutes left. He was from behind the 3-point line, really far back. But the story, I mean, as far as the game goes, I thought the Warriors would win by 10-15 and won by 16 here. So I think a lot of us were interested in the game, and obviously the entertaining part was the reactions and the fans, and I mean, they got into some scuffles.
The posters. I love it.
Exactly. That's what I love too. As far as the game goes, I mean, it wasn't a great game. The Warriors just absolutely were in control the whole game. They were by like 20, and then it would get on to 15, then it would go to 18, then to 12, and then back up to 16. So they were in control the whole way. But the whole cupcake, which a lot of people didn't know, but I had to look it up myself. But it was when Kendrick Perkins called Durant soft like a cupcake, so everyone was really feeding off of that. You had
cupcake.
You had the snakes, the selfishness. And
I know.
I mean, the booze. I mean, we all knew that was going to happen, but it seemed like it seemed like it affected Durant.
Yeah, it hurt his feelings. That's not nice.
Stop it! Don't give me that.
That's not nice.
What do you want me to do? Clap and applaud you? Thank you for leaving us. Leaving this organization, which probably should have been in the
Kevin
finals
Durant should just sing that one song, "Hate It or Love It," all the time.
But anyways, I mean, it was interesting. It was entertaining, and I feel like I was waiting something big to happen, and we got close a couple of times.
They tried to keep their composure. They tried to be professionals about it.
Durant got in it with Andre Robertson there at one point.
Yeah.
There was a timeout where the Thunder were making a little bit of a run, and Westbrook's jawing at Durant, saying, "I'm coming, like I'm basically coming to get you now," and that really never happened. But
as far as individual statistics, Russell did give them the business, but
I wouldn't really say that.
47 points.
Okay, yeah, great. The guy had
okay, yeah,
points,
great.
but he did.
I know. That's what I'm saying. He
took 26
as
shots.
an individual went after them. He just needs more of a supporting cast.
Well, it's hard when you lose the second best player in the league.
True.
I mean, Westbrook took 26 shots. He shot 14 of 26, which, I mean, for Westbrook standards, that's pretty good, over 50%. 3 of 10 from 3, something he should probably never attempt in his whole life as a three-pointer because the guy's unstoppable going to the lane.
Right.
And that showed on Saturday. He was 16 of 18 from the free throw line, so he went to the line.
It's better to
9
go
times.
to the hole and get your points off the free throw line.
But that's obviously Westbrook is not the one who normally does that. He's the guy who likes to settle for three-pointers. He's averaging over 6 a game, which he should probably average 0.6 a game in my eyes. But nevertheless, the Warriors do win, and Durant... I mean, they do play one more time. They play March 20th in OKC, but it's not going to have nearly the hype and magnitude of this one. And they answered the test. So I think next time, they'll probably win by over 20.
Mm-hmm. So next time, it's whatever.
I mean, well, it was what I expected, and the Warriors did win it. Cupcake. Durant
definitely has to walk in with the cupcake pregame next time they meet.
That would be interesting. It's almost like he's like, yeah, like come at me, like
no, he should really
just. I'm gonna win.
Yeah.
That's basically what he's saying. Like, and you saw the players after the game. The Warriors players were wearing
cupcake shirts.
Like, yeah, well, you probably wouldn't have won that if you lost, but
no, definitely not.
But they do have obviously the final say because they did win the game by 16, and they were winning comfortably the whole time out. So the Rockets, a 133-102 victory over the Phoenix Suns on Saturday. James Harden, yet again, he's my MVP. 40 points, 8 assists, and 6 boards for the Beard. The Mavericks kind of, I mean, they were kind of like the laughing stock in the first month or two of the season. But you know what? They're playing actually really good.
Yeah,
they're
they got it together.
32, and they won by 32 over the Orlando Magic, 112-80. Wesley Matthews had 20 points, 6 assists, and 4 rebounds. And then your boy Isaiah Thomas continues with his fourth quarter heroics. They go on the road to Utah and defeat the Jazz, 112-104. The little point guard had 29 points, 5 assists, and 2 rebounds. He's like I said, he's quietly having an MVP caliber season.
Yeah, he's doing well.
He's averaging 29 points. He's been like the most clutch down the stretch performer in the fourth quarter.
He's been pretty consistent with them. Yeah.
I mean, I was never a big fan of him, but I have to say, like, the guy is phenomenal. And given his height and everything, I guess you can say like pound for pound, or I don't know what you want to call it, inch for inch. Right. He's probably the best player in the NBA on that in that instance, that regard. A lot like Allen Iverson, even though he's shorter than AI was.
Yeah, he's a little guy.
All right, so that takes us to Sunday real quick before the break. The Timberwolves pick up a 117-89 victory over the Chicago Bulls. The Knicks do win at home against the San Antonio Spurs, 94-90. Kawhi Leonard
clap
had
for the
36
Knicks.
points, but nevertheless, the Knicks do get it done. We'll talk about them a little later in the show. The Pistons with a 102-101 victory over the Toronto Raptors. Contavious Caldwell-Pope hit a 3 with about 13 seconds left to give them the edge. And then your Kings, Pauline,
Holla.
they win again last night against the Pelicans, 105-99. Boogie Cousins had 28 points, 14 rebounds, and 7 assists. The Kings have won 3 in a row.
I know. Look at us.
They've won 4 out of 5.
Look at us.
Do you believe in them?
I always believe in the Kings. Even when we had a terrible January, look at February.
And that's because you're a fan of them. But I'm serious. Like, as far as
he said, I'm serious. I am too.
For the Kings, it's basically competing for the 8th seed because that's really where they are in the West right now.
True.
Do you think they can get it done though?
If they keep playing like this and not like January, if DeMarcus keeps his eye on the prize,
they were in a homestand,
and they did terribly. In January?
Yeah, but this most recent one.
Oh, okay, because I was going to say, January one, that hurt my heart.
7-game homestand, they were 2-5.
Yes.
But they did really well in this homestand here. DeMarcus did get his 17th technical of the season, so, I mean, he's still not the best at really holding his emotions in there, but...
Hey,
they're playing really well right now.
They did.
The guy who I've been really impressed with, because obviously we see them a lot more than maybe the average fan would, is Ty Lawson off the bench. He's been really good.
Yeah. Okay.
A really good week. So, and I've always been a big Lawson fan, even coming out of college when he went to the Nuggets. I thought he was a really good player, and he's had his off the court incidents, but he's slowly turning his way around. And I've really liked what I've seen out of Ty, so hopefully he can get things going. We'll take our first break of the show. After the break, we're going to talk about college basketball. Gonzaga had basically their toughest test of the season on Saturday on the road against St. Mary's. Did they win and stay unbeaten? We'll tell you right after the break here at the Golden State Media Concepts Basketball Podcast.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Welcome back into the Golden State Media Concepts Basketball Podcast. Gonzaga, their toughest test of the season, as I mentioned. The only team that literally challenges them for an unbeaten season is St. Mary's.
Right.
And they had to go on the road to face the Gales here in California.
Gales,
and they passed the test.
Go Gales.
Well, I mean, not so much on Saturday, Pauline.
It's a theme song.
They're still having a great season, even with the loss.
Yeah, true. Okay.
They're 22-3. Both those losses, or I should say 2 of the 3 losses to the Zags, because they did lose on Saturday, 74-64. Gonzaga was up 9 at halftime, then they kind of just coasted from there. Jonathan Williams had 17 points, 9 rebounds. I think Gonzaga is going to finish the unbeaten season in the regular season and then probably lose in the second round. Like, this is what we see from Gonzaga.
I was going to say, that's pretty predictable.
They'll be a number 1 seed, and then against the winner of the 8-9 matchup, we'll give them a tough game.
Right.
And they'll probably lose. If not, they'll lose in the Sweet 16. I don't want to bash on Gonzaga. I say this every time I see them win. They're a good team, but it's kind of like they're a big fish in a small pond. They're not really playing the toughest competition.
Truly.
Like, St. Mary's is not terrible. They've had a good basketball program recently, but they're not a
who
powerhouse.
else is there? Yeah.
Exactly. So I feel like come tournament time, Sweet 16, they're going to be playing, they're playing a top 20 team. They're playing a really good team. It's going to be a tough test for them, and that's where you're going to really see what they're made of, because they're not playing a whole lot of close games. They're winning a lot of blowouts. So
I agree.
We'll have to wait and see. But nevertheless, Gonzaga do stay unbeaten. They will stay the number 1 team in the nation. Villanova pick up a 73-57 victory on the road against number 24 Xavier. Villanova playing absolutely fantastic, 24-2 this season. Kansas go on the road to Texas Tech, and they put up a tough test, did the Texas Tech Red Raiders. They only lost by 1 to Kansas, 80-79. Josh Jackson had a big game, though, for Kansas, had 31 points and 11 rebounds. Louisville win against Miami, 71-66 at home. Oregon come off their loss to UCLA during the week and win 81-70 on the road against USC. Number 6 Baylor beat TCU 70-52. Number 9 Arizona win 62-57 over Cal. West Virginia, number 13 in the land, they defeat Kansas State 85-66. This is a game I talked about on Friday, because I'm doing the shows on Friday as well. Right. And I previewed this Notre Dame and Florida State game. And I said, honestly, I feel like Notre Dame can pull off the upset here against number 14 Florida State. Notre Dame had been ranked during the season, not playing too well as of late, but they do pull off the upset because they're still a good team, just kind of going through a little bit of a run here. And they beat Florida State 84-72. Bonzi Carlson had 33 points and 13 rebounds for the Fighting Irish. They're finally getting back to their winning ways. Number 15 answered John Calipari's test, and they go on the road to defeat Alabama 67-58. Number 17 Florida defeat Texas A&M 71-62. Number 18 Duke. It seems like Mike Krzyzewski, to me, Pauline, is really having effect since returning to the sidelines. They win against Clemson 64-62. They beat North Carolina during the middle of the week, which is obviously huge, their biggest rival. I feel like Mike Krzyzewski is having a real effect since returning to the sidelines for Duke. Number 19, South Carolina go on the road to defeat Mississippi State 77-73. Number 21, Maryland defeat Ohio State at home 86-77. Butler lose on the road to unranked Providence 71-65. Number 23, Creighton defeat DePaul 93-58.
But, I mean... Did we expect anything different?
I mean, exactly. Do we expect much? All right, so that takes us to Sunday really quickly. So a big win here for Northwestern.
Yes.
They go on the road to defeat number 7 Wisconsin 66-59.
Great win.
Northwestern, one of those bubble teams there in the Big Ten at 19-6 and 8-4 in conference play. So they get a big road win against a top 10 team here in Wisconsin. It's got to really help their resume. Mm-hmm. You know that Northwestern, Pauline, has never been in the NCAA tournament.
I believe it.
I mean, this is going to be the season, right? I mean, they have to. They were close last year. They kind of fell down the stretch.
Right.
But they're playing fantastic.
Because after...
They have basically a stamp on their resume with that big win.
They've seen the light after last season, so they know what they're working towards. I can see it.
I think they're going to be close. They need to keep playing well, but they're doing really well. One team that's not going to be in the tournament is Oregon State because they're 4-22 and 0-13 in the Pac-12.
Yeah, that's incredible.
After their loss to number 10 at UCLA, I do love Lonzo Ball, not so much his little brother and his dad, but I do love Lonzo. He had another great game, 22 points, 9 assists, and 6 rebounds. He's fantastic. I take him number 1 overall. Number 11, Cincinnati had their 15-game winning streak snapped on the road against number 25, SMU, 60-51. Number 12, Virginia loses to Virginia Tech in double overtime, 80-78. Virginia were up by 14 at the break, and then they really faded in the second half to let Virginia Tech pull off the upset there. So, I mean, Virginia is still playing well. Great defense, but just kind of lost their composure mentality right there in the second half against Virginia Tech. We'll take our last break of the show. After the break, we're going to talk about news within basketball. We'll talk about Lonzo's little brother, LaMelo. We'll talk about a trade that the Nuggets made and potentially another guy who's going to be traded in Denver.
Okay.
And something else that is going on in New York. I mean, I feel like there's not much that can go on, but nevertheless, they continue
always
to give us more and more headlines from the big city. We'll be right back after the break here at the Golden State Media Concepts Basketball Podcast.
Do you want to be healthier, yet you just don't know what to do? All these shows telling you this and that, but nothing seems to work. Well, listen close. Golden State Media Concepts has got something great for you. The Health and Wellness Podcast dedicated to workout trends, healthy eating habits, diet, and everything about healthy living. Join us in our banters as we help you not just live life to the fullest, but live it to the healthiest.
All right, guys, this is going to be the and the ending of the show, but not before we do one last segment, and that is going to be on the news in basketball. We mentioned the Nuggets. They made a trade with the Portland Trail Blazers. They are sending Juref Nurkic and a first-round pick to the Portland Trail Blazers for big man Mason Plumlee, a second-round pick, and cash. I do really like this move for both teams. The Blazers could potentially have 3 first-round picks this year with Memphis' pick, and this is going to be a really deep draft class.
Good for them,
Not to mention that Nurkic he's a pretty solid big man. He's 22 years old. He's averaging 8 points and 6 rebounds. No real surprise that the Nuggets are trying to move on past him with the emergence of Nikola Jokic, who's playing fantastic. We mentioned him in the first segment, had 40 points in a game on Friday. And now you bring in Plumlee to really add to that mold there, who's averaging a career high of 11 points, 8 rebounds, and 4 assists a game. The Nuggets making a lot of moves. I've always felt like since they made the trade with the Knicks, where they got all those players, Wilson Chandler, Gallinari, I feel like they've kind of been a disappointment since that trade. They haven't really developed into... I kind of compared them at the time to the Pistons during their heyday with Hamilton and Billups and Rasheed Wallace and Ben Wallace. Like, not a lot of stars, but a lot of really good players.
Yes,
I feel like Denver could have molded into that, but it never really worked out. And I feel like now they're trying to replicate that success now. Plumlee's a good player. Jokic is developing into a star, kind of in my eyes. You have Gallinari, but maybe they could trade Danilo Gallinari. There's reports, according to some by Mark Stein, that the Raptors and the Clippers are 2 likely contenders for Danilo's services. The trade deadline is on February 23rd. So Gallo is averaging 17 points and about 5 rebounds. So it's possible that they could be not done, but I feel like this is a good move for both teams, Pauline.
No, yeah, I'm excited for it. I'm really excited for the Blazers. I like the Blazers, so I'm excited for them especially. And it'll be nice for the Nuggets to get back on the map.
Yeah, I mean, they really I feel like they could be an up-and-comer team next year. Mm-hmm. A lot of good young pieces.
Right.
Jokic will
piecing it together.
Even just continue to impress, and they could be a lot better depending on the moves they make. All right, so the Knicks, I mean, what else can we possibly say about them? You have the whole
nothing good right now.
Phil Jackson's tweets about Carmelo Anthony, and then you have
James
Dolan
quit tweeting. I'm over the tweets.
Well, Phil Jackson doesn't even tweet that often. Phil Jackson
exactly, even more
nothing.
so.
I mean, one of his players, Derrick Rose, goes MIA, goes AWOL, and he doesn't even have a comment on it, but he tweets about a guy from Bleacher Report and his article about Carmelo. So it's like, I don't get it there. But yes. So we have Phil Jackson's tweets. Then we have James Dolan and Charles Oakley feud. And now it seems like Dolan's kind of just throwing even more shade at making the Knicks it worse. Legend. He banned him from MSG forever. And now he's inviting back, of all people to the game yesterday against the Spurs, Latrell Sprewell.
Yes,
who we know has had his incidents with James Dolan. Right. Because after he led them to their heyday, I guess you say their heyday of the last decade and a half, was 1999 when they were in the finals. Mm-hmm. So then he traded Sprewell to Minnesota. And then his first game back in MSG, Sprewell was obviously not really happy with the trade.
Right.
And was not afraid to say his mind about Dolan. During the game, kind of called him out on things. But now he's like welcoming him back in open arms to MSG.
Yes.
Like, wait, what?
No, and you could not tell me that this game was on the schedule and that he had already previously, like this was a previous invitation that he had received weeks before, and they were already planning on this, and it just so happened to be a coincidence that the Oakley situation happened last week. No, this was planned within this weekend.
Like 48 hours.
Yes.
Because it's almost like I realize people can mend their problems and have a change of heart and everything, but we haven't heard any of that from Sprewell nor Dolan.
Yes.
I feel like he's just throwing shade at Oakley. Like,
he's just adding to it.
I'm not letting you in, but this guy who I've had probably even worse incidents with, I'm going to let him in and act like everything is hunky-dory and we're singing Kumbaya.
And that everything's fine and you're the problem. See, I'm able to mend my problem with anybody else. It's just you. Yeah, that...
And Sprewell said after the game that he was happy to be back and he still loves New York and he still thinks of them as his team and is a fan of them and who wouldn't want to be in MSG. And all that stuff sounds great and it makes sense and everything, but it's literally just a slap in the face to Charles Oakley. And I don't think it can get any worse for the guy, even though the whole rest of the NBA is pretty much backing him up with everything that happened last week. I didn't think this could get any worse in New York, but it somehow seems to every single day get worse and worse. You have the trade deadline on February 23rd, as you mentioned. Does Carmelo Anthony get shipped possibly to Boston, to Cleveland, to L.A. with the Clippers? City. I mean, that's still up in the air. The marriage between Phil and Carmelo, they're basically waiting to sign the divorce papers. And it's just a matter of where they end up signing
him, yes.
So, I mean, it just literally gets worse and worse. But
and it's just not a good look at all for the Knicks.
Of course not. Because you're going to have no way of attracting big
who's going to want to go there?
Who wants to go to a team where the president bashes the star?
Right.
And even if disrespects legends.
Yeah, and even if, the appeal of Phil Jackson is very attractive, which I can understand why it would be, with all the accolades that he comes with. But then you see like this, and it's like, I don't want to deal with that. Let me,
Yeah, no way.
Especially with Carmelo, and like how you said, like disrespecting legends also. And Carmelo's kind of like that fixture with the Knicks. He has been in the most recent years, especially. So when it's just like, we're just gonna throw away what we've had, you're just gonna toss me out the door like this. This is all you have to say for me. So and Phil, yes, he comes with a lot of accolades and a lot of experience, and yes. But he's new as far as to New York, whereas Carmelo's kind of has nothing that he's built there stand for anything. Is it just bye, sayonara? It's been fun.
I've not been the biggest Carmelo Anthony fan.
Okay.
But I'll give him a lot of benefit.
Yeah.
He's getting like the cold shoulder.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he's kind of getting treated bad and poor. So I'll give him some benefit of the doubt
Really?
there.
When he's been very consistent with them as far as like his attitude, as far as his commitment, his playing, because even still with all this drama that's been going on these last few weeks, he's consistently been playing well for them when he could just be like, I don't care.
You could say screw it. And
right.
Just
sit
not
me.
Even,
yeah.
Like you said, not even care anymore. I think that's a good way to put it. But he's not doing that. So I'll give Melo a lot of credit there. All right, anyways, we're going to talk about another Melo. It's LaMelo Ball. So
LaMelo.
Last week we all know.
Think he was named after him?
I don't know, because it seems like
Carmelo.
they all have the L's. You have Lonzo, you have LiAngelo, who's the senior now at Chino Hills, and you have LaMelo Ball, who's the sophomore. So possibly, I don't know.
I don't know.
So, and then their dad is LeVar Ball. So I think it's just all L
an L
things.
thing. Okay.
Yeah, a lot of people do that. You have the Kardashians with the K's and everything.
K's.
I feel like, I don't know, but it's possible.
Not my family.
Anyways, we know last week he put up 92 points during the game for Chino Hills. And I talked about it on the show on Friday, and just, I don't even know when it was. I think it was Friday. But in all my regards about LaMelo and everything I had to say, Pauline, real quick, your thoughts on the game, scoring 92 in a high school game. And you had the coach who is the dad, LeVar Ball, telling his team to foul on purpose so they could stop the clock and
to just LaMelo rack up more points.
And that he unleashed him after they lost to Oak Hill Academy. And just your thoughts on that really quick.
Well, and I spoke about this a little bit with Anthony, I think, on Thursday, where my only thought is...
I must have talked about it on Wednesday then.
I mean, I think you discussed it on Wednesday. I mean, I'm okay with it. Whatever, but my only thing is, if I'm the other team, after the 48th point, 57th point, 75th point, 80th point, somebody has to do something. Like, no,
I mean, they had like 2-3 guys on the kid,
and
he was getting through
everyone. And I'm not an advocate for playing dirty, but like, dang.
And I mean, he wasn't really playing defense.
I play physical.
He was cherry picking a lot of the time at like half court.
And a lot of it was a lot of like, like layups, whatever, things like that. But I'm just like...
And the game was wide open. I think it was like 146 to 123 in a 32-minute game to have 269 points. I literally don't get it.
I don't know what's going on out there.
But anyway, so now, as I said in the first part, I think some people should just say nothing. LeVar Ball is back at it again because he did an interview with TMZ Sports.
Oh, yes.
And he said...
The greatest news.
He said that he can do it again, and he will easily score 92 points again. Like, come on, are you kidding me?
Hey, you got to be your... But then I don't know how I would feel if my kid was on the team.
You're talking about a different kid?
Yeah, like a different kid. And
that's my thing,
yeah.
too. He took...
I mean, I guess
LaMelo Ball took 61 shots that game in 32 minutes. So he's launching up almost 2 shots a minute.
Yeah.
No one else is getting a chance to even be noticed.
Yeah, I don't know how
shine. You're not playing as a team. You're playing 1-on-5. And now you have this happening. Oh, he can easily score 92 again.
Because then how do you... Go ahead, I'm sorry, go.
I talked about it on Wednesday. I was like, you know what is even worse? And I talked about it with Anthony. I was like, you know what's worse, Anthony? Is that... He's like, oh, you were so close to 100. Let's go for that next. And this is going to happen again. And you already see LeVar Ball, oh, he could easily do it again. He's basically foreshadowing the future.
Right.
That's the worst part.
I don't know. Because then if my son's on this team and he's kind of... I don't know. Because I don't know if my son... I don't know if I would be okay with him just being like, whatever, it's cool. But then, you know what I mean? Like, is my son just going to be like, I don't care anymore?
Like, look at this. So his teammate Eli Scott had 15 field goal attempts. So that's not bad. I mean, but no one else on the team had more than 6.
Taking more than 6 shots.
So it's literally 1-on-5.
Literally 1-on-5. But not even Russell Westbrook style.
This is worse. This is like 5 times worse than Russell Westbrook style. And now it seems like he's going to be doing stuff like this again and going for more accolades and more headlines. And the goal is to do we're feeding into it. We're talking about the guy.
Sure. Yeah.
And that's what he wants.
We're part of the hype beast.
That's what they're doing. That's what they want.
No, yeah. And it is getting them a lot of notoriety. It is getting a lot of publicity for the school, for the squad. They are continually winning. So that's, I mean, I'll give them that. Because if you're scoring 92 points and we're losing, or, like if we're on a squad where there's that one main guy, but we're consistently losing, then yeah, okay, then I'd be a little bit ticked off if I was a different player's parent, because I'd be like, all right, look. But like you said, we're feeding into it. Now it's just adding to the incredibleness. So we'll see. I won't be surprised if by the end of season we get 100 points out of this kid.
I honestly expect it, and he'll take 80
maybe
shots.
Even this week.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, definitely.
Like, he took 61. One guy took 15. You cut that in half, that's 68 shots. The other guys took 6 at the most. You cut that in half, he's taking 90 shots, and he has 100 points.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that.
Yeah.
I honestly think that's coming next. I hope not, because I think it's a bad embarrassment to the game and to the sport and the school. Like, if I was the principal of the school, I'd have him fired already. But obviously, I don't have a say. And like you said, they're doing what they want. They're getting publicity for the school, for the kid, for the players. And
so I guess that can be their argument.
We're kind of feeding
that
into
they're
it,
getting, people are coming to watch the games, so they're getting more revenue. So I don't think they're gonna, as far as like business wise, they're not gonna cut this coach because it adds to it. And I mean, I guess it adds to the fun of it, especially when you're in high school. Like the whole, we have the Ball brothers, which is cool too. So like you said, it feeds into it. It's an ugly monster. And we can't really kill it, but then we need it.
Only a sophomore, so we have
yes.
more years of this.
I was going to say, he's still a young kid.
And his brothers won't be there. Well, obviously, Lonzo's already at UCLA.
Yep.
Angelo's going to be UCLA next year.
Yep.
So we already have 2 more years of this. And
you can't one and done it. Like in college.
No, you have to be there for 2 more years. So it's going to get worse. Well, this is not going to be the last time we talk about LaMelo. I can guarantee you that. But anyways, that's going to end the show for today, guys. My name is Ben.
I'm Pauline.
We are signing off here at the Golden State Media Concepts Basketball Podcast. Pauline will be back in the studio recording tomorrow. I will see you guys on Wednesday, and then she'll go Thursday. I'll go Friday. We're going to go back and forth with the exception of Monday. So thanks for listening, guys. I do appreciate it. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Basketball Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. From movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.